So Mac.
Jack, what's up?
1994, from the director of K-Pax, we get a vision of a computer-filled future called Hackers.
Hackers, yes. Cult favorite, Hackers.
You keep saying that, and I don't believe you that anyone remembers.
No, I've actually never seen it before. I don't know why I'm here. Welcome to Hackers.
Okay, so Hackers is a movie.
Mm-hmm. It certainly is. It's something that exists.
And it's such a dated movie. I know I was in love with this movie when it came out. In, 95 is probably when it got its video release. I was prime age. I was 13, maybe 14. I rollerbladed everywhere. We had just gotten our Dell computer with our AOL disk.
64 megs of 100 megahertz SD RAM, a 6.4 gig hard drive, Microsoft Home Essentials 98, a large screen monitor.
Oh, nice. Yes, yes.
And you watch Hackers and you say, this is going to be me.
This is, I can't wait to dress that way. There's just so many just fun characters and because they're absolutely ridiculous. Almost nobody comes out unscathed in this.
They're not only are their characters ridiculous, but everyone seems to be chewing the scenery in different angles.
Yes.
Spandex, it's a privilege, not a right.
Oh, look, I'll spank your ass. Die, dickweeds.
What are you waiting for? Arrest me already!
Yak. Get a job.
So it's thoroughly chewed.
It's everything.
Yeah.
The thing that struck me the most was our main character. Well, what's the actor's name?
Johnny Lee Miller.
Johnny Lee Miller, who everyone knows from Trainspotting.
Yes.
Is doing his version of an American accent that he picked up from a 1920s businessman.
Yeah.
From $1 million deals to the $10 that some guy pays for gas. No one's caught it because the money isn't really gone.
Everything he says sounds like this.
You sound like Fred Schneider.
All he did was listen to B-52's album.
Yeah, that's it. He's like, oh, that's American.
We're gonna hack the mainframe.
Hack the planet.
The movie starts with a young Zero Cool hacking the planets.
Yeah.
And getting busted by the cops.
Yeah, super slow motion all over the place. And then boom, we get a courtroom kind of thing, and they pan across and everybody, and then you find out the defendant is like, there's nobody there, and then you pan down, and it's just a little child.
A kid.
It's just a little child.
Was a hacker.
Was a hacker. Crashed 1,205 systems in one day, something like that.
Under which you are forbidden to own or operate a computer or touch-tone telephone.
And another little thing. Felicity Huffman is the prosecutor.
Which one's Felicity Huffman?
She's the one from Desperate Housewives.
That's her?
There's a lot of those hey, there's Fisher Stevens. Oh, there's Lorraine Bracco.
Fisher Stevens, this was one of his first major motion pictures, playing a white actor.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I have seen some strange, bizarre drivers, but you will be awarded a cake.
When did you learn he was a white person?
Probably when I watched Hackers.
Hackers, yeah.
I was like, wow, this Indian guy is really versatile.
Really good, wow, yeah. feel kind of conflicted about the whiteface thing, but but all right.
Yeah, I know. I don't think I thought about it until years later. Years later, and I was like, So we fast forward in the movie to Dade.
Dade Murphy.
Dade Murphy. It's his 18th birthday.
He's finally allowed to use computers again and the phone.
And the basic plot of this movie, as we kind of keep rolling along, is actually a very standard, it's almost like a Western, like a gunslinger, the retired gunslinger comes to help the friends, or the embattled samurai has to save the sleepy town. So yeah, he's this super uber genius.
And they just moved to New York City. Yeah, and then he meets like he gets found out as kind of a hacker type and gets caught up in a hacker crowd. Yes, which includes characters names like Serial Killer, the Phantom Freak, Lord Nikon.
Booyah.
Yeah, okay. Acid Burn. That's right. Dope.
There is no time for wonder. No time for why is it happening.
Unbelievable.
There is time only for fear.
A hacker.
You know, this was before the age of the internet, and so like the idea of someone having like an internet name was a really novel
A handle.
I need a handle, man. I mean, I don't have an identity until I have a handle.
Yeah, that's what they call it. That's what the kids call it in the movie.
Like a CB.
Yeah, it's like a ham radio.
A breaker.
019er. This is Flapjack number 3. Look at it, boom.
That's what you are.
That's me.
That's your handle.
Yeah.
At Flapjack number 3.
Flapjack number 3 at wafflehouse.com.
It's too much machine for you.
Yeah?
So yeah, then he gets into a contest.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, like that's the first like half of the movie, because the second half of the movie is something else. Like yeah.
It's all wrapped around exactly the kind of world that a 13-year-old kid kind of thinks hackers and New York is.
Yeah, a bunch of 30-year-old teenagers.
Clearly 18 years old.
Oh yeah.
With a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yes. Yep. Lots of rollerblades. Pseudo-futuristic fashions.
It's almost cyberpunk. It's crazy, and like their hangout is straight out of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
It's the kids' playground.
It's the foot layer.
It has rollerblade ramps on the inside.
Yep, graffiti everywhere.
No parent would understand this.
Oh, yeah. And they watch a show called Hack the Planet. Like, it's like drink Jolt Cola.
Jolt Cola, the soft drink of the elite hacker.
Who are these guys?
Before energy drinks, all we had was Jolt Cola.
Jolt, yeah.
I mean, Mountain Dew, that's standard. That's your everyday drink.
Yeah, that's still around, really.
But when you're partying late at night, reading comics, hanging out in a tent in your backyard, that's when you pop open the Jolt.
The Jolt had twice the caffeine of a Coca-Cola.
Absolutely.
He even had like a lightning bolt on it, on the front. And like, heck yeah. So yeah, it's all about drinking Jolt Cola and hacking the planet. And they like, bring up a lot of like just like lingo and the stuff just like dates like just perfectly, I think. Like a fine wine frozen in your freezer.
Has a killer refresh rate.
P6 chip. Triple the speed of the Pentium.
All right.
I want to triple my RAM. Like, it's like said 2.8 megahertz like Pentium processor. Like, it's like, yeah, all right. Like,
that's right. You got a serial bus controller.
Yeah. Like, that's fresh.
So like you were saying, the first half of this movie, plot-wise, is a little different than the second half. The first half of the movie involves one of the most awkward kind of romantic entanglements that I've seen since episode 2. Like, this is a straight up stalker trying to get a young Angelina Jolie to hang out with him. And he does so by stalking her, by invading her classes in school. He follows her around at night. He like just uses her computer without asking her.
Well, to be fair, there was a group of them using her computer.
Touche.
Yeah. Was that her top?
One-handed.
Difficulty rating. 7.
But his opening move, and a pretty slick one at that, is by beating her at a video game.
Yes, and like not just any video game, one of those kind of when computer graphics were really like 3D animation. Like, I mean, like on like not even on par with the original Star Fox. I mean, just but it's got like 2 controllers and stuff, and it's going down some kind of alleyway, and
it was very clearly a real game.
It's very much a game that exists in the real world.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure it does.
Well, it looks like I'm on top.
Looks like I'm on top. That's his line.
I know what sex is with girls. That's exactly what that line is.
That's my dade.
And so, yeah, that kind of ushers in a hacker challenge. Who can hack the most?
Well, yeah, they have to harass like the local like FBI agent, you know, who's in charge of hunting down those hackers.
Right.
Yeah, and so like
Square.
Yeah, look, just like, and like every time he talks about hackers at the press, he just keeps on saying the same line and stuff.
Adults, they don't get us at all. I think that actor is still playing FBI agents.
I mean, he looks the part. Like, yeah,
he was just in that very bland Amazon original, Jack Ryan.
Oh wow.
Playing an FBI agent. Like he's got one type.
Leather, lace, and water sports. Transvestites welcome.
That's why they call me Stallion.
Oh, that's disgusting.
So yeah, no. So they harass him by they sign him up for like a sex hotline kind of thing. So he gets all kinds of calls and
max out his credit.
Yeah, yeah. They actually kill him like digitally.
Our records indicate he's deceased.
What?
Well, and you know, there's something I do want to talk about with this movie is one of the neat aspects of it is they kind of do their due diligence when they talk about hacking. Because, you know, one part of hacking is, you know, typing really fast.
Which, by the way, you should see the typing in this fucking movie. It's amazing. Like, yeah, best hacker on the planet. Just.
But an actual part to hacking is kind of this social engineering side, and they do spend a lot of time on that. Where you know it's not just about creating your virus. You have to prank call someone to try to get information to slip into the system.
Like tricks like the security guard into giving him like the number on the modem or whatever.
Exactly.
You know?
They go dumpster diving, hoping to find passwords. So it's like. It's a really frustrating part with the movie because I think it's actually a very bad movie that has aged really poorly. But some things that they do are kind of cool and interesting. But because it's aged so poorly, it's just.
Yeah. See, I mean, like I said, I look at it as like just a snapshot of just how wrong we were, like how wrong we thought, like how we thought the future was going to be, and it's such a clear, vision.
Yes.
And it's like just so incorrect that I find it like just gorgeous in its own way. Look at you.
All right. You know what? I'll give you that. I think like people of the early '90s saw this movie and they said, you know what? Instead of this fashion, what we're gonna do is wear khakis and flannels because we don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Never fear. I is here.
Back to Fisher Stevens, because he is just, he's magic.
He says all of his lines with such sincerity that I'm surprised he is not the highest paid actor ever, because he is dishing out these ridiculous lines.
With absolute conviction and with all due seriousness.
We are samurai, the keyboard cowboys, and all those other people out there who have no idea what's going on are the cattle. Moo.
And you're just like, but totally just like, eyes here. Like he thinks he's so cool, and he's Fisher Stevens in a fur coat. Is really at the end of the day, that's what he is. Like, it's gorgeous.
He looks like a guy who thought he was going to be in a vampire movie, and then accidentally ended up on the wrong set because he's wearing these ridiculous outfits. And I know he's supposed to be like our antagonist, our main bad guy. At the middle point of the movie, right at the beginning of our third act, he is skateboarding outside of a limousine to pick up a floppy disk.
Yeah, yeah, and he's just riding it, holding onto the side, and just snatches it and keeps on riding, just keeps riding.
How cool is that?
So cool, so cool. He actually always, because his name was Eugene. Yeah. And like they keep on, every time he called Eugene, he's like, I told you, my name is the Plague. He even does it with his girlfriend. Right. He does it at work. He does it to the CEO of the company. He's like, I'm the Plague.
Yeah.
Like, I love how no one's actually really taking him seriously. All of his coworkers, like, oh, it's like that old bit where it's like when Sting, the singer, his name is Gordon, like, and he was a kindergarten teacher or something like that. And he just showed up to work one day and he's just like, don't call me Gordon anymore, cause I'm Sting. And he's like, yeah, like, no, we're not gonna call you Sting. He's like, no, but I'm Sting. Like, like it's
fine. I'll start a rock band.
You're
and they'll call me
then.
Sting.
Like, yeah. So it's like, okay, whatever, Mr. the Plague.
Gordo.
And your name goes through like 17 computers a day.
1984. You're right, man. That's a typo. Orwell's here now. He's living large. We had no names, man. No names. We are nameless.
I think we should take a second to talk about Matthew Lillard. I don't know exactly like what to say because like certain times you get pretty speechless with the choices that he makes. On a scale from 1 to 10, he's like a 53, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, he's just like he's all over the place.
Hendrix on there, some Joplin, Mama Cass, Belushi. All great artists that are fixated on their own vomit. Nice. You can't get this in stores, man.
And you know, like I think everyone probably first saw Matthew Lillard in Scream. You know, that was his first big movie.
Breakout.
And he's a big eccentric weirdo in Scream. But
It's a Scream, baby. Hold on a sec. I'll be right back.
But here, it's beyond.
Yeah.
It's beyond. Like he's wearing outfits that belong in Mad Max.
Yes, Sad Max.
Is that what this movie is?
Yeah, it's Sad Max. Yeah, that's a Josh one. That's a Josh one.
You see all of this? This is every financial transaction Ellingson conducts, yeah? From $1 million deals to the $10 that some guy pays for gas.
The worm eats a few cents from each transaction.
The main plot for the bad guys is it's the Plague and his girlfriend Paula Poundstone are attempting to embezzle money from their company.
Using not a virus, a worm.
What's the difference? I don't know.
Well, they don't explain it.
Yeah.
We don't need it, though.
Yeah. I feel like the Office Space stole a lot of this plot idea.
Yes, yeah. There would not be an Office Space if it wasn't for hackers.
This sounds familiar. Yeah, they did in Superman 3. Right. Yeah.
So they're trying to steal money. They're trying to embezzle money.
And the hacker crew that we've been hanging out with, one of them, played by Jesse Bradford. I know.
Who's he?
Exactly. He's Jesse Bradford.
He does a good.
He's Jesse Bradford. He's fine.
I think we got a hacker.
Yeah, he gets his hands on some of the, hacks into like their mainframe and copies a garbage file, a trash file, but
just stumbles into it
because he wants proof that he would like hacked the Gibson. Looking at, and then next thing you know, he gets that's where they were hiding their worm that was stealing all the money. So then now now the Plague and all them they're after the hackers. So
you've mentioned a lot of things. We've talked a lot about how this movie is terribly dated and trying very hard to be cool. And so hacking the Gibson.
Yes.
That's a point. That's a high point.
Yes, and it's a running kind of thing. Like, oh man, if you can just hack that Gibson.
You can't hack the what's a Gibson?
Man,
who's a Gibson?
You could probably only do it in 10 minutes. With my help, we can do it in 7.
There's the classic gunslinger scene where our main hero Dade is proving his knowledge, and so Matthew Lillard starts whipping out hacker books.
Pink shirt book, guide to IBM PCs, so-called due to the nasty pink shirt that I wears on the cover. It's the Devil book, Unix Bible.
You name them all,
Even though he's looking right at the titles.
Yeah,
he's basically
NSA dedicated
twirling
networks.
his guns.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
What he's doing.
He's. Yeah.
Was that a samurai?
Yeah.
Sword.
It's samurai, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing it?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Can we add a sword?
Jay? Can we add a 3D sword? That's not going to happen. Like I said, it's to be respected. Everyone is just playing big, bold characters, like
with sincerity.
Amazing fashion choices. Except for Angelina Jolie, who's kind of playing it cool. She's doing her thing.
Whatever. She looks great.
She does. We get tiny boob action, so that's always.
Yeah.
It services the story.
Yes.
Because it's a dream sequence.
Yeah. There's actually a series of dream sequences in this. Yes, there's one where the kid wakes up and he thinks he's getting arrested and stuff like that, and he runs out and there's all these cops there, and then he wakes up and goes, oh, that's crazy. And he goes back to sleep and he wakes up and then the cops arrest him. He's just like, deja vu. What happened?
And Dade has a dream.
Dade has multiple sex dreams about Angelina Jolie, and then there's one you think it's his dream, but no, it's hers. Twisteroo.
Yeah, that was part of they had a couple style choices in Hackers that started off really strong and then they completely forgot about.
Yeah, it's kind of just like, yeah, like half-baked ideas and not in the comedic kind of sense. They were literally just, they took them out of the oven too soon.
Right. Like, you know, you have some running gag dream sequences in the beginning of the movie to kind of showcase Dade's thought process.
Yeah.
They keep like cutting to old comic strips and like old movies.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Like he first sees Angelina Jolie and it's just like hard cuts
it's like,
of like girls' lips and kissing.
And like fire, like, you know, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was very like, very MTV generation. Very fast, very, I mean, ugly, bad, but at least it was style,
yes, at least it's choices, like strong choices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they just forgot about it, like, nah, that doesn't work.
They're like, oh, we already know how he thinks. It's cool. We got it. We got that zero cool down.
Boom.
Boom.
He thinks in terms of Twilight Zone episodes. Boom. We're done.
Yeah.
They had a couple of very neat practical effects in Hackers. One of the opening shots, the title shot, is they're flying over New York City, and it fades gently to a replica of New York City, but as a motherboard.
Yeah.
It's a really neat shot.
And also, the movie ages itself even worse because there's the Pan Am building. Is there? Like, it hadn't been the Pan Am building for about 8 years at that point. I mean, that's some serious stock footage usage. Like, yeah, they're like, no, we're not going to rent a helicopter. You know, it's been the MetLife building since like 1988. You know, it's like,
they ripped it from the 70s.
Yeah, no, exactly. And like, yeah, and you can kind of tell from the stock of that footage. It's like it's a little
grainy,
little grainy, little sandy.
Yeah. I think the biggest challenge for this movie is because computers were relatively unknown of. Like the internet computers, early 90s, not everyone had one.
Yeah.
People barely understood what the internet was.
So they could just BS their way through a lot of this.
Well, and they needed to visualize computers. And so like one of their main tools was just to build a big room with all the files in like light panels.
Yes, very Tron-esque, you know, yeah, and like just, because, I mean, you know, at least they tried to break it down for all those normal people who just don't know how to hack the planet.
It's replicating, eating up memory. What do I do?
Type cookie, you idiot. I'll head him off at the pass.
So they all come together, though. That was the whole thing. I think that's one of the big kind of things is that there is this bunch of people all around the world that are all, involved in this like new technology, this new movement. Yeah, and they all come together to hack that Gibson.
That's right, because you can't hack the Gibson. It's too powerful.
It's too powerful, but like hackers unite.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, 用意できたからやってみよう.
And then there's that sequence where they cut around the whole world, where it's like, all right, let's do this, and then then there's some people speaking French, they're like, oh, oui, oui, and then then they're in Tokyo, and then they're like, yeah, and then and you can see just the files in the three-dimensional recreation,
and they're hacked because they turn red.
Because they turn red, yeah. Green is good for the bad guys, and red is like, uh-oh.
We have massive infection, multiple GPI and FSI viruses.
Gibson's getting overwhelmed, Fisher Stevens and Penn Jillette can't keep up.
They can't handle it, and Paula Poundstone is just trying desperately. She's like, I think she's being like our comic relief.
Send a flu shot.
Rabbit, flu shot, someone talk to me.
A rabbit replicates till it overloads a file, then it spreads like cancer.
Cancer?
Cancer, flu shot.
Oh my God! Oh, something we should talk about, which we've talked about a little bit, but I want to make sure we focus in on it, is you're a filmmaker, okay?
Sure.
And you are making a film where people are typing, but now you got to make it look cool. How do you do that?
Oh, you got to put them in a phone booth.
Okay, all right, I'm with you.
You got to put phone booth on a Lazy Susan, and you just spin those kids. Just spin them real good. And just next thing you know, it just... I would love to just have been there that day when they just put every actor in the movie just in a phone booth and just
Now type.
Type away.
Monkeys. We're gonna spin you to look cool.
It's gonna look great. And they just do the slow motion, just with that
killer soundtrack.
Yeah,
killer soundtrack.
Yeah. No, I mean it is. That's one of the things. Actually, I do own the soundtrack, and it is so hackers. It is so. It's like that techno stuff, and like there was a couple of there's one or two of those bands that are kind of Rage Against the Machine knockoff kind of bands, like like that. Like, it is just again like the movie itself, like just has not it is. It has aged well in the fact that it hasn't aged well at all.
Yes.
Yes. Like that's what I like. That's what I get a kick out of this movie. Is that like it's just like making just kind of having fun like with it, like at even its expense. It
was that time in the 90s, like before kind of the decade solidified a fashion where people were throwing shit against the wall. It's a little industrial, it's a little goth, it's a little grunge, it's a little bit of nothing and everything.
Yeah, it was still like even though we were halfway through the 90s, we still hadn't figured out what it was. I mean, I think people still had pogs around then.
Right.
So it's like we had a lot of bad ideas like in the 90s.
Unfortunately, there was no way to hack pogs, or else that could have been.
No, I'm pretty sure Bitcoins are pogs actually.
You think?
Yeah.
That's where they all went?
Yeah, that's where they all went.
Come on, you son of a bitch. Is that all you got, huh? Come on, let's see what else you can do. You talking to me? Huh? Are you nuts? Come at me.
Hackers is this very... It kind of much like the decade it's set in. It's a little nebulous.
Yeah.
Where it's not all-time classic that someone needs to see it, but it is a really interesting time capsule.
It knows what it is. It just what it is isn't necessarily what we want. But it has a very clear vision of what it is. And I think that's kind of part of the appeal. I think for me is that know thine self. It's like Hackers knows what it is. But or at least it thought it knew what it was.
It clearly did. It's a strange thing where it's not like that '80s Spielberg nostalgia trip where you say, oh, this is exactly as good as I remember, if not more so, because now I know how he made it. This is like the beginning of teenage cynicism, where you're just like, oh, this is weird to watch.
The whole style of the piece, if you watch Hackers, you're gonna wake up the next day and kind of going, did I just watch Hackers? It's like, what was that outfit she was wearing? The fuck was that?
Should I mess with the best, or should I die like the rest?
I
don't know what to do.
I don't know.
All right, I think that's fair.
All right, cool. Hack the planet.
Hack the planet.
Hack the planet! Hack the planet!
Shut up and get in the car.
Hack the planet! Hack the planet!
Well, Jack, it's time to hack the planet. Is that a Medicine Man reference? Because it's Lorraine Bracco.
Who?
Plays it's not Paula Poundstone.
That's Paula Poundstone.
It's Lorraine Bracco.
Who's Lorraine Bracco?
The woman from Hackers. Sopranos.
That's really not Paula Poundstone?
No, it's not.
Yeah, Nurse Jack.
I thought it was a joke too. No, I should have let you go.
Oh my God. Okay, well, first of all, she sounds exactly like Paula Poundstone.
Lorraine Bracco and Paula Poundstone.
And maybe it's just like her bad overdub, but I just heard that voice and I was like, wow, Paula Poundstone. She was working.
Well, she's
Well, Penn Jillette's in it. I don't know. That's all I comedian.
I thought you were joking this whole time.
I don't.